Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm doing a makeup tutorial today. Hello Cleo, that's my cat. She likes to sit on the makeup bag. Actually, it's Amelia's cat, but she's kind of like mine. So let's dive in. I always sanitize my hands before I get started. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use micellar water here to just make sure that her face is nice and clean, and I have a blank canvas to start with. The cat seems to like this too. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and just moisturize. I like several moisturizers, but I'm using Roche Posay. I will drop that down below. And then I like to just go ahead and put on either an eye cream. In this case, she doesn't need it, but I'm putting on eye gel, and it also helps when you start doing the eyes. And then I like to just lip prep at that point before I go in and do eye work. So I'm just priming her eyes here, and I'm going to be interrupted by the cat. She likes to be on camera. Okay, so priming the eyes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I used a light shadow here just to kind of cover the whole eye. I added a slight cut crease just to help define and give a little bit of dimension and depth to the eye. And I'm just continuing to go in with her eye. I'm giving her a little bit of a smoky, but still very natural. Sometimes I'll start with the brow, but in this case, I'm finishing off her brow after doing her eyes. My model has a natural, gorgeous brow, so we didn't have to do much, just a little fill-in and shaping. And then I just was peeping her eyes a little bit and decided I wanted to add a little more just to make it a little more dramatic. At that point, I'm going to go ahead and take off the eye gels, just kind of rub that in, make sure that I've cleaned up any shadow that might be under there, which in this case there really wasn't. And then I go in and do a liner. I chose a cat eye for this look. And we added lashes. At this point, her face is prepped, her eyes are done, so we're going to go ahead and do foundation. And then I'll either do like a concealer at this time, or I'm doing a little bit of corrector here just to cover some of those blemishes. And then I'm just putting a little bit of loose powder to set the look, doing some bronzer and a little bit of highlighter, and then I'm going in with the blush. For cheeks and lips, I do have a cheek lip palette. I also have just separate cheeks and separate lips. In this case, I used 2 blushes for the cheek, and then one of the blushes I used as a lip as well. I did line in the same color, fill, and then we glossed on top. I like to use a spray just to add some hydration back into the face, and then I set with a setting spray. And then we have the final look.